Yes, folks, Galactica is lost in battle. Not lost, destroyed, as we know, but in Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, Sin and Sacrifice, the 10th mission in the 11 mission campaign of Sin and Sacrifice. That came with it, including veterancy and radio chatter and a number of other improvements, including other ships. This episode, which is Mission 10, now deals with the landing zone. People have fled the colony of Caprica, and as a result of which are seeking refuge. So they're jumping away. And as the Idris network is down, they gotta do small jumps. And it's up to the Daedalus
evacuation coordinates was not subtle.
to help them out. Let's have a little bit of story.
Aware of our plan.
You can't leave Galactica back there. They'll die if we don't.
They're soldiers, Lieutenant, and they will do what they must. Our priority is the safety of the civilians we've promised to protect. Klothos, will Lachesis continue to pursue any civilians outside of Helios Alpha?
I do not know. It would not match their mandate, but then neither does politicking for a partial ceasefire. My risk analysis models are uncertain.
It would be a massacre without us.
I won't risk their safety. We will stay and protect the refugees that come to Cocolus. After that, we'll see Daedalus to safety. I expect Lachesis will continue to hunt us after this.
So, we run to Ragnar, farther away from Caprica. We'll find out firsthand what the interference from the storm clouds will do to Klothos.
Do not worry about me, Lieutenant. I have already made preparations in the event that we have to traverse the storms of the gas giant Ragnar. The objective is sound, Admiral.
Good. Prepare coordinates to Scorpia for the refugees and then plot our jump to Ragnar. We go as soon as we've seen the last civilians safely from Cocolus.
So there you have it. You've got Helena Agathon, you've got the Cylon defector Klothos, and you've got Lucinda Kane, all trying to come up with some sort of strategy to protect the citizens that are fleeing Caprica. The nebulous clouds of Ragnar seem to be the area where they think the Cylons aren't going to follow them. Now, we saw Ragnar Outpost with the Battlestar Galactica in the reimagined mini-series by Ron Moore. The Cylons wouldn't go in there for risk of death or affecting, their cerebral cortex. That nebula's going to do them a bit of damage. So we're going to save the game before we go charging into battle, and that's only prudent, I think, because, we're coming down to it, the last two missions of the campaign, and I don't really want to mess it up. So, took some hits as well in the last campaign, so we're going to have to make sure that we've got some ships, and we've recharged our ships up to the maximum amount of command points that we can possibly use. So, landing zone. The ships are going to jump in. We're going to have to protect them while they jump away. Sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? Well, I dare say it probably isn't going to be pretty much straightforward. So we've got the Daedalus and we've got their fighter screen as well. We've got some Invera classes as battle stars. Obviously we haven't got the Jupiter, the Galactica, which is a bit of a pain. So we've got some heavy hitters, which we're going to use. And this mission being based out of Cocolus. So, a little bit of positioning now. And let's proceed. Protection missions.
Just hit 20 minutes. Still no colonial transponders or Cylon marks in the LZ. The coordinates to Scorpia are ready. They'd better not turn anyone around after this.
Scorpion Border Control have promised they'll process all Alpha refugee ships fairly. It's the best we can offer them right now. Make sure any civilians that hit the LZ are spooling immediately after they land. This plan only works if we can minimize their exposure.
So we've got the promise that, despite the Cylons invading colonial space, that Scorpion Border Control will let the refugees through and not turn them away so they are floating around. We're still not all one big happy colony, or 12 colonies, really. There's an awful lot of infighting that we've seen throughout all the missions. Everyone's got their own agenda, and we know that, the decimation of the colonies brings the 12 colonies together in that sort of ragtag fugitive fleet, as they said for Battlestar Galactica. It's despair brings people together, and that's where I think where we are now. So the Daedalus has got its fleet. We're going to rush out and meet the Cylon marks that are currently on the board. So when people jump in, we've got a bit of distance that our fighter screens can then drop back and take out the Cylon. That's my plan anyway. Now the Cylons are jumping between those two outpost items on the right hand side of the screen. That's all well and good. It creates a choke point which we can provide a screen with flak and missiles and attempt to take out the Cylons.
New colonial transponders. They have the full evac plan and are spooling their
So there you have it. Here come the typical transports, a la Colonial 1 looking type vessels.
They will not be far behind. Although we are not part of Lachus's mandate, we are the largest.
Clothos telling us the Cylons are not going to be too far behind.
Doing this.
Settlement. The colonization of God's land for the Cylon people.
Will it
And a little bit of theory about the Cylons. You know, what are they doing?
All the more reason to regroup at Ragnar as soon as we can.
Kane all very much to get to regroup, do a counter-attack and go back and take them out. But there's that underlying need to protect the civilians and uphold the mantra of the Colonial Fleet. That's what they're here for. They're here to protect the Colonials, and that's what she's saying they're going to do.
Yes, Commander.
So here we are now, we're on Protect the Caprican Refugees mode. So we're going to start turning to one side. Cylons have jumped in.
Sir.
We know where they are. We're going to get our fighter screens in the air, so we're launching our squadrons. We're getting into position simply because then we're going to be able to lay down flak, we're going to be able to lay down missiles, we're going to bring our turrets to bear as well. So we're going to have one set of Vipers defending Daedalus. And we're going to assign one to that transport. Now, we've got 3 transports on the board now. Different looking transports, but all should be familiar to you if you're a fan of the series. This colonial freighter here, not a huge amount of hull. Here they come. They knew they wouldn't be so far behind. Here are the Cylons.
On the board. All marked Cylon.
Protect the civilian ships. We don't leave until every transport is
And there
clear,
you go. Protect civilian ships. We don't leave until every transport is clear of the landing zone. Now, if you haven't already done so, do me a favour. Click that like and subscribe button and also that notification icon. It goes a long way to helping me out as well. And not only you'll know when I'm putting more videos of the games that I'm currently following on YouTube. Now, we're not just all about one game here. We're not also about Elite Dangerous. We're about Subnautica, Battlestar Galactica. Yes, a little bit of Elite Dangerous, bit of No Man's Sky when it finally becomes interesting once again, and the like. So hit that notification icon and you'll know. Now at the bottom you see we've got 3, that's 3 turns that those civilian transports need to jump. We've got to engage super duper protection mode. All the while those Cylons have got, well, effectively an unlimited amount of assets that can jump in, whereas we have only what the Daedalus can produce as a shipyard. In between missions. So I say we've gone for a heavy sort of Battlestar aspect of things with Artemis and Minotaurs and Minerva's and of course the Daedalus as well. Now a lot of these Battlestars are fielding 2 squadrons. The Minerva have got 2 missile banks, which is great. Heavy hitters, capital ship destroyers. Here come more Cylons. You knew that was going to happen. The board is getting pretty crowded. So how are we going to protect all of this then? We are going to take an utter pasting. Okay. We start laying some fire down of our own now. Fighter squadrons are going to take out a lot of those missiles, and we've got some Viper squadrons in defence of the Battlestars, which is only fair really when you consider the amount of missiles that is now going to start coming in, especially with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Cylon ships that are now on the board. But unfair when you consider that the Colonial Fleet is capped at, what, 7? 7 capital ships? So a huge barrage of missiles coming in. The flak's doing a little bit to take them out, so's the Viper screen, but some are getting through and we are incurring quite a bit of damage. Now, all that aside, more ships are going to be jumping in. Brilliant. Ships are going to be jumping out. Well, that's great. That's exactly what we want. Even though you can still control the colonial freighters and civilian transports to sort of guide them out of harm's way. Now, some Cylons are going to get through and start attacking them. That's why we've left some Viper squadrons, so we can defend those civilian transports.
Yes, sir.
So there you go, we got a flak screen going off there on the right hand side from that Battlestar, trying to soak up some of the missiles that are coming towards it. That looks like a nuke that's headed right for us. That would really spoil our day and take out a Battlestar, not only with its guns but also its 2 missile batteries as well. Okay, so we're starting to lay some fire down. Vipers are in the air. Enter.
Nuke incoming.
There's that nuke incoming. I think we've taken it out. That's great. That Battlestar, again, you know, the Viper squadron did soak up a lot of those missiles, but not enough. Argos class Cylons coming into play now. More refugees jumping in. We've got our Raptor squadrons out there as well. We're going to see if we can use some of their missiles before we start boarding the Cylon ships. And now we're starting to target some of the Cylon ships now with our squadron to try and take them out. We need every gun, every bullet, and every pilot to dispel this Cylon threat. This is where we are. This is what this is all coming down to in this campaign. And I've got to say, to Black Lab Games, fantastic campaign. Perhaps I enjoyed this better than the original campaign. It really does put the humanity of the 12 colonies on the back foot, even though we're just basically dealing with Colonial Fleet and Caprica. But you do get a feel that everything's going to start coming together, you know, and where's Colonial Fleet going to go from here? Well, we just don't know. We'll find out probably either in this mission or the next one. So we're positioning the Minotaur as well, try and bring some of its big guns into play and try and take out some of the smaller ships. Got the Cylon Argos there as well. You know, I mean, that's a right pain of a ship, that is. Lots of missiles, lots of weapons on it. Here we go. Now it's time for us to deal out some missiles ourselves. So far we haven't lost a ship, which is encouraging. We have taken a few Cylons out. Time to let loose our missiles at those ships as well. Those Arachna ships.
Yes, Commander.
I don't like those. Those and the Revenants. I'd much rather take on base stars than those. I don't know, they just take a lot of damage. They really take a lot of damage. Okay, so we're tagging a few Nemesis class. Even though they're Corvette class, they've got a wealth of torpedoes on there, and as a result of which they are dangerous because they are fast. But the good thing is that they don't stand up to the guns of a good Battlestar or Minotaur. Yeah, so we're taking a lot of damage. We're going to lose a Battlestar any second. They're really giving that a good pounding, and one is gone. There you are in the middle of the screen. More ships jumping in, more refugees jumping in from Caprica that is currently under attack by the Cylons. No sign of Galactica yet. The Battlestar Galactica has not made... well, it hasn't made an entrance. In fact, this could be where all Season 2 is going. The hunt for Galactica. That was probably where, you know, I mean, unless it turns up, which, let's face it, I doubt it. What is the Battlestar Galactica doing? We don't know. Left there, fixing its FTL. Taking out more Cylons now.
A Battlestar is being hacked.
More transports jumping away. We're coming down to the fact that where all the guns of our colonial ships have started wearing them down, another Battlestar has fallen.
Yes, Commander.
There's another 2 missile banks that we've lost in this fight. Yeah, that's it. We're coming right down to it now. We're getting a right old bloody nose at the hand of the Cylon. But in my opinion, this is quintessential Battlestar Galactica. Humanity on that back foot. Limited resources. We've got some fire control. That needs a bit of repair there. Just got to get that ship to jump away. So far, nothing else has jumped in. That's good. We're currently holding our own. I don't know how long for.
A Battlestar is being hacked.
Another Cylon ship bites the dust. But still more to take out. So we've got some more civilian transports. Lots of civilians making it off the surface of Caprica, surviving the nuclear missile onslaught. But again, all that means is that we've got more ships we've got to protect. This mission, great mission. Excellent fun to play. It's exhausting, which is what you want from a game. You got that suspense running. Am I going to make it through? I'm losing ships like there's no tomorrow. I've only got, you know, a few left out of my initial fleet. The Viper squadrons are holding up pretty well, though. I mean, in comparison to everything else, and we're starting to use them more and more. So we've got 4 civilian ships on the board now. We're going to start to position them out of harm's way so we get an additional little bit of time. Three jumps for that particular ship.
Yes, sir.
Bring it in round by Daedalus so their turrets can offer a little bit of protection as well from the Cylon raiders.
Minerva is taking damage.
We're taking a right pasting. Only 2 of our major capital ships on the board now. We've got 1 Battlestar and 1 Minotaur class. The Battlestar is taking a right pasting. Even to the point where it's going to be really close whether we're going to have any capital ships on the board by the time all those civilian transports jump away. It looks really doubtful.
Missiles on their way.
So we're going to set off a salvo of missiles. Because why not? Because the next round, if we don't play our cards right, we're going to be toast. All our squadrons still in the air. Nowhere to land though. Hangars have taken a hit. We're going to concentrate on that Cylon vessel over there. See if we can at least take that out. That Talon. Still taking a pounding. We've only got 30 points of hull remaining. The Talon's down. Our missiles have really taken it out. We're going to swing round to the right. All guns to bear on that new Cylon Gorgon. Cylon Gorgons, of course, were attached to this game. When Black Lab Games released Sin and Sacrifice as a DLC content. So we have the Colonial Heracles and the Gorgon. Not too much of a tough ship, but it has got, you know, it's got missiles and it's got a Cylon squadron as well.
Squadron target is confirmed.
So we've got some of those Cylon War Driver squadrons as well, making a right old nuisance of themselves. Again, using our Viper squadron to take the Cylons out. The Cylon squadrons making a right old mess of things. That Battlestar is not going to be long. The big guns on the front are giving it a right old pasting. We're taking more damage from that major Cylon ship, and it's gone. I mean, it hadn't taken that much of a pasting as well. All civilians have jumped away. Let's get the story.
Prepare the fleet for jump. If Lachesis wants to give chase, we'll drag it right through Ragnar's clouds.
Jumping in 12, 11, 10.
I'm sorry about your sister, Lieutenant. We couldn't have stayed at Caprica, or else we'd have lost everyone.
She's a fighter, sir. On the toughest Battlestar ever built. She'll be...
And what we're seeing, a bit of humanity from Lucinda Kane towards Helena Agathon. The Cylon is jumping everybody to Ragnar. We're going to end the turn. That Battlestar's had it. We've only escaped with the Daedalus and that one particular Minotaur that we held back in defence, really, of the station. Well, what an exciting mission, you know? I mean, that's going to be one hell of a replay as well. We're going to watch the replay now. I'm not going to talk all the way through it. We're going to experience its cinematic greatness as it's rendered in front of us and come back afterwards.
Open racks and engage.
All systems are nominal.
I don't care where we go. Jump up now.
Escort clearance zone is active. Drive full on your mark, Captain.
Switching gun to manual.
We're making it work. Not today, Tin Can.
Set secondary battery. Full attack mode. Fire at will. Target acquisition is screwed. Give me manual controls now. We're taking fire.
Nothing. What's the rate?
Optimizing fire solution. They're giving us a hell of a storm, sir. Adjusting shot by .16. Fire. Get him! Get him! Get him! Eat this, toaster!
Has to be said, one of the most engaging missions I've played. Each one of these missions, you know, I think they've really saved the best the last to end off this season. What's happened to Galactica? We don't know. So the Sin and Sacrifice DLC, you know, it's available now. Go and get it if you haven't got it. There's good deals on the game on Steam and GOG. You know, if you're into RTS, this is the game for you. I've been Ricardo. Check out more videos in the series.